Hello, back again. I don't have a script for this. This is just going to be me talking to myself in a room, as usual. So, I hope you don't have very high expectations of what I'm going to be going on about. So, I've kind of come to the realization that shadow work is very, very important. And the longer you kind of ignore that and don't go through your trauma and go through your past, kind of the less that you know about yourself, the harder it is to deal with things that crop up and you have a very surprising reaction to. Because if you knew yourself completely and you've done your appropriate shadow work to know yourself that well, you won't be surprised at all with how you react to things and how you work through things. And I know a lot of people don't like to do shadow work because they think it's black magic or kind of not on the Anid Harm None completely white witchcraft scale. Which is a shame, too, because there is a lot to be learned from completely engaging that other part of yourself, the darker, less happy, content, light side of yourself. And if you don't dive in and look at the darker, kind of unsavory bits, then you will be completely surprised when that part shows itself and it comes out in the middle of nowhere and you're like, what the hell? This isn't me. But it is. And it's just that part that you've been ignoring and you've been tamping down. And if we don't deal with the problems before they're an issue, then it's going to be twice or 3 times as bad when it actually comes out. So it's better to acknowledge past things, acknowledge problems in yourself and in your life and in your work before they become catastrophic. So what I'm talking about today is the inner child, if you will. And I know this is a very hot topic for a lot of witches, a lot of spiritual people in general, I think, engage their inner child a lot. And it's very important because a lot of us have had very negative childhoods, and they were forced to grow up far faster than they should have in normal development. So if you try and find and communicate with that child, with the part of you in your head that is locked away, that maybe you have just put on the back burner because you say to yourself, I'm grown up, I don't need this anymore, I'm no longer childish, I don't need to play, I don't need those feelings anymore because I'm grown up and I'm an adult now. Those things are so far behind me, I didn't need a childhood, etc. So today, there's a lot of issues that happened at work and even things that happen around the house when you're interacting with anybody else that you really need to stop and listen to, because it can be a response from that inner child part of yourself that's trying to get out. And I've talked about this a little bit before, about how the spirit girl that is me, that is my younger self, has kind of come out a little bit. I think that was like, the 16th video I did or something. It was a long time ago. But if you are having a response to something painful or traumatic or just overwhelming, upsetting, etc., etc., you have to stop and say to yourself, is this coming from who I am now, or is this coming from who I was? Because a lot of these feelings, just for example, jealousy, overwhelming jealousy, for absolutely no logical reason, you suddenly have this reaction that I am so jealous, I am completely upset and overwhelmed, and you act out and you kind of throw a fit and you get upset and emotional and you say to yourself, well, this isn't logical, but I can't stop who I am right now. I'm just upset for no reason. No reason. So, jealousy is one of those things. Being hurt is one of those things when somebody yells at you and your immediate response is, to cower away or to get upset and lash out back at them. And it's not all of this. A lot of those responses are completely normal, even as an adult. These are my opinions. But a lot of it comes from who we were as a kid and what happened to us as a kid. And this is why we're reacting this way now, because it's something deep, deep in our mind that's telling us you need to do this for survival. There's a reason kids have the reactions they do to things. It's because they are inherently just trying to survive. So if there's an abusive person that's running around their house, hitting things and breaking walls, your kid is going to go and hide and not be found. So I think that's what the inner child in us is trying to tell us when there's something that even remotely clicks that area of our brain. And yes, I'm speaking specifically for people who had less than great childhoods, people who had traumatic experiences when they were younger. I'm not saying that everybody didn't. I'm just saying that if you have never been in a situation where you need to hide from someone, then you getting upset is probably a completely normal adult response that is not linked to any of this. But for those who have been abused and neglected, etc., there is a perfectly good response for overreacting as we do. And it doesn't do to get angry and impatient with this part of yourself, this person that is coming out, because that harms your inner child mindset even more. And instead, you need to sit back and think and deal with it as if you were dealing with a child having these same feelings. So if a kid gets upset and jealous because you decided to do something else and not spend time with them, then you understand. You're like, oh, okay, I get where they're coming from. They just wanted my attention. They just wanted to hang out. They wanted my safe space. And then deal with yourself in the same caring, loving way to kind of get that trauma response to go down and be more comfortable in those situations, dealing with them as a well-measured adult. Also, on the same topic, this is not true for everyone, because there are plenty of people who will manipulate you into thinking that they are having these responses. They say, I'm jealous because you left me here, so and so. They're just trying to be manipulative and get you to do something, or get you to feel bad, or get you to apologize, get you to feel guilty. These are two completely different things. But on that same topic, for yourself, just make sure to think about doing shadow work. It's not evil, and I don't see any reason why it would not fall under a completely white path, honestly, a completely right-handed path. Because, I think I said that right, because it can really help you understand your entire soul, your entire being, rather than just one part of it. One part that is just above the surface, if you will. So yes, go into the underworld of your feelings and your past and your traumas if you can deal with that a little piece at a time. Don't just completely feet first jump into something horrific that's going to give you flashbacks, and don't do that. That'll make it worse. Just ease into doing a little bit of understanding about yourself and be gentle and be nice to yourself. Be your own mom. Be your own best friend. Be your own advocate. Love yourself. That's all.